Hello and welcome back to the FTHcast. I am your host, Free the Hawk, also known as Paul, and I'm here, co-host Kyle. Say hello, Kyle.
Hello.
And it's just the two of us this week. We had Nathan last week, and now we have just me and Kyle this week. So I don't know if the what's that?
The Fellowship is falling apart.
Fellowship. Now I was trying to think of that movie. It's a comedy movie, and they're in the desert, and they have to there's a singing...
Pauly Shore in the army now?
No, I can't think of what it is. There's like a singing bush in it, and an invisible man that they shoot. Oh man, I can't remember. What is that movie? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You would if I could remember it, but anyway, doesn't matter. The Three Amigos. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say. That's stupid that I couldn't remember that. Anyway, way off topic. It's a new month, so it's a new game of the month, and we've decided to do the Arkham series because Arkham Origin comes out this month. So we're super excited about this. I'm just gonna put a little footnote out real quick. If you don't follow me on Twitter and you just listen to this, then you may not know that we actually already tried to record this podcast.
So if this one is super lame, that's why.
Yeah, if we seem like we're rushing through stuff, because we've already literally talked about it. And we tried to record it yesterday, and I wasn't recording, and we just talked, and then we said, forget it, we'll do it tomorrow. So, which is probably good, because there was some stuff we kind of rambled on, including the Arkham series. But we're definitely excited about that. I just beat the second game, and I've pretty much beat the first game, so I'm ready to see how Origin starts the series out. I'm really excited about it. But anyway, let's move on to topics. Wait. One other thing, real quick.
Wait.
Whoa. The FTHcast is now coming out on Wednesdays instead of Mondays, if that matters. I don't know if it will or not. Hopefully it won't mess up anybody's schedule. But I'm going to start putting them out on Wednesdays. It just works better for my work schedule. And because Mondays, I always have Mondays off, and I like to sit on my butt on Mondays. So it's nice not having to edit and do stuff like that on Mondays. So anyway, on to the topic at hand. We're going to start out with Steam and the Steam announcements because, that's pretty much the only thing that's been happening. And we'll just go through each announcement, and then, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Let's start out with... Oh, no, go ahead.
Do we want to talk about what we've been playing lately? Or?
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you said that.
God, that's like that's like the bread and butter of the FTHcast.
I know. It's my favorite question, too. So what have you been playing lately?
Can you guess? We talked about it last night.
Oh,
Breaking Bad video game, yes. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, yeah.
Getting more excited because the online component's coming out tomorrow or something like that. I was hoping they'd release it early and release it today, but that's just because I was at work and I was super depressed. I was at work and I wanted to be home playing video games. But yeah, I've just been wasting away on that, committing crimes and,
taking names.
Committing crimes and taking names. So I've been doing what all the other 2 million people that bought the game did for the last 2 weeks.
I'm pretty sure it's 20 million people.
Well, whatever.
It's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. Enough to make $1 billion in 3 days.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. I've been playing HD remix of The Wind Waker, which I have a date with later tonight. I'm gonna stay up late and play through it. I was thinking about Zelda earlier, and I was like, oh my gosh, all the Zelda games are so good. And I was like, oh, I've got to play it. So I'm going to be playing some more of that because I haven't gotten too far into it. I want to get the master. I just want to do the dungeons are so good in that game. That game is, I love that game.
Have you ever played through any of the master quests?
No. The only one I really know of is Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which
You're right. I think that is. It
may not be the only one, though. It may not be the only one. I wouldn't be surprised if they had one for the Majora's Mask or whatever. But I think I started playing through it and just didn't. At that point, I'd beaten Ocarina of Time 1,000 times. I just couldn't put myself through it again, even though it was different. But no, I have not. Is the answer to that question. But so I've been playing that, and I've gotten back into World of Warcraft. Ugh.
Oh God.
Yeah, which is actually a direct result of really nothing more than they have Hearthstone. Have you seen Hearthstone? Anything about Hearthstone?
I mean, I've seen it. I don't really understand what it is, but
It's
I
basically
know what it is, but I don't understand what it is. If that makes sense.
it's basically just a trading card game, much like Magic the Gathering, but it's all based on World of Warcraft. All the cards are based on Warcraft stuff, which is it's cool in its own self. But the way the rules play out as a card game makes it a lot faster paced than, especially a lot faster than Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering, if you don't know the cards, and there's a million cards in Magic the Gathering, then it's just a really slow game in the way it burns. But man, the way Hearthstone feels and plays, I haven't played it, but the way I watched pretty much every video I can find on it because I just find it really interesting. I basically know all the cards, and I've never played the game. Seriously, I mean, I couldn't name them to you, but if you told me a card, I could probably tell you what it does. And oh man, I'm so excited about it, and it's just such a good game. And it's like, you know what, I'm gonna play some Hearthstone, or I'm gonna play some World of Warcraft until Hearthstone comes out. So, and that's gonna be free to play and stuff, and I'm pretty excited about that. So I've been back into World of Warcraft. I've been leveling up. I just got to 72 on my human paladin.
Oh.
I started a new character, but I'm trying to think. I might if we I might start another new character. Let's just put it that way, because there may or may not be a series in the works for the YouTube channel, but which would cause me to make a new character basically. I don't know. It's fun. I mean, it is what it is. Actually, it's really easy up until you get to like level 80, and then even still, it's really easy. I don't know. It just slows down at level 80.
Until you have to grind out with a bunch of uber noobs on a raid, and
yeah, basically,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, once I got to like, it's really like level 1 through 60, which is like the original content, is super fast, like a month, and you can get. I mean, you could probably, if you had no job, you could probably do it in 2 weeks. You could get to 60, easy. But once you get to 60, that content, I don't know. I just can't ever get into it. It's the first expansion. I can never get into it. So at that point, I end up just doing dungeons over and over again. I just end up grinding dungeons to get levels, which is a really, really fast way to do it, especially level 60. And I do that for 70 to 80 is too also as well. And then I don't know. I've never really played 80 to 85, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do once I hit 80. But
lose your mind.
I'm probably gonna go. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go to Mount Hyjal, which is a region for that expansion that is deep into the Warcraft, especially Warcraft 3, their lore. I kind of want to see what that zone's like, so that's probably what I'll do, and then do some more dungeons until I hit 85, and then once
I really want to see what that zone is like.
And then once I hit 85, I'm gonna start doing all the Pandaren content. And I know I lost you probably about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, so. This is all over my head.
But yeah, anyway, so I've been playing World of Warcraft. I probably won't get that far. I'll probably play it for like another couple more weeks, and then another subscription will go through, like a charge, and then I'll be like, I don't want to pay for this anymore, and I'll stop. But
for those of you that don't know, maybe first-time listeners, Paul is the resident PC gaming expert, and he starts to talk about things, and whoever else is on the podcast, we just sit here like idiots and agree with whatever he says because we don't know what he's talking about.
It's because we got a bunch of they're COD veterans, but that's about it. They play COD. Actually, that's exactly where I met you. I think it's either World of War or 3, Modern Warfare 3, 2, whatever it was, 2.
Was World at War after 2? No.
World at War was before 2.
I think it was.
It might have been Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because I played World at War with one friend, Mitch, and I don't think I played with Logan or anybody at that time. So yeah, anyway, reminiscing here. Let's get on to the Steam topics at hand. So the Steam OS, this was like I'm going to kind of cut through this part because we talked a long time about the SteamOS yesterday. So if you don't know what it is, basically it's a Linux operating system built for gaming. It's going to start out as basically as a streaming operating system. It's meant to stream games from your computer to your TV through the Steam machine, which was the second announcement. But eventually it'll be an operating system for video games. It'll be the primary operating system for Steam as well, because Gabe Newell is not happy with Windows 8 and just kind of the general direction Microsoft's been going with how they handle the gaming market. They're pushing the Xbox more than PC gaming anymore, which makes sense for Microsoft. You can't really blame them. I mean, they're kind of splitting hairs going both ways, so they might as well as, go one way or the other,
Yeah.
It's time to poop or get off the pot, as they say. But
funny you say that. I read a great article, and I believe that was literally the title of it, except they had Valve in the title, about making Half-Life 3. Or actually, I don't even think it was about making. I think it was just about announcing it.
Yeah, they've been it's probably made. They're probably sitting on it.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably still using the Half-Life 2 engine and everything. No, I guarantee you it's probably pretty close. I bet they're gonna announce it. I don't know.
I can't believe that this close to new consoles coming out, Valve comes out and says we have 3 announcements, and none of them, not even after the third one. Oh yeah, by the way, flash whatever Gordon's face or something.
Yeah,
this is coming.
What's really they announced it weird in a number of ways. Like the fact that they just announced it in 3. I mean, it's nice that they broke it down because it's all really complicated. But they had all these teasers, and it was these 3 little symbols, and one was a circle maybe or brackets, and the next one was brackets with a circle in the middle. Yeah, it was a circle, and then brackets with a circle in the middle, and then brackets with 2 circles in the middle. So my first thought is okay, and they had already announced the OS, so I was like, okay, that's the OS. The second one's obviously probably the Steam boxes. That's what everybody's saying. But everybody's like, who knows what the third one is? I was like, well, the third one looks like a controller. It might just be a controller. I mean, that would kind of make sense if they're going to release machines. They're probably going to release a controller for their machines. But it's probably going to be Half-Life 3. Who knows? I'm going to guess it's Half-Life 3. It's well, nothing about that symbol says Half-Life 3. It's 2 brackets and 2 circles. That doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. And I guess we can just go ahead and, because the operating system's operating system. It's a good idea. It's good for them, and it's good for Linux, and it's good for hopefully PC gamers. I mean, in the long run, because it won't be hard for people with PCs now who run a better operating system for their games to have a Linux operating system and just dual booted on the Windows machine. But the Steam boxes and the Steam machines are weird, and I still haven't really figured them out. Basically, and they haven't announced who's making them, but a lot of different people.
I was gonna say, who's making? I don't know. You feel like Valve would have their own box, right?
Yeah, but they're not. They don't want to get into hardware. They've always been software, and that's kind of, I think, where they just want to stay. I don't know why. I guess they just don't want to get directly into Nintendo and Sony's and Microsoft's face with it. But yeah, they're basically outsourcing, which they've already said they were going to do this. Last year at E3, they were talking about not this recent E3, but the one before that. I'm pretty sure it was E3. They were talking about the Steam boxes and saying that all these people were going to get together. The Steam box wasn't a box. It was people making these Steam boxes. And I think one of the first ones that came out was we're going to be a Steam box. And then eventually they were like, no, they're not really a Steam box. We haven't announced any of the Steam boxes yet. They're just being a bunch of jerks. But yeah. So anyway, let's explain it real quick and then we'll move on. So Steam machines, I could say boxes, but they're actually officially Steam machines. Various size, various shape, various price points, various power, based on however you want to buy it. And nobody knows who's making them right now. I'm sure a little bit of everybody. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Dell Steam box in the works at some point. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just a little computer. That's all that it is. And why wouldn't Dell be like, oh, people are gonna buy this. I'm gonna make a good Steam box. Like, they sell all kinds of weird computers. But and it's just gonna have the operating system on it. Like, that's its own purpose. And then that operating system will stream from your computer. But I guess in the future it'll be both a streaming device, but then if you want it, I mean, if you bought one of the really powerful ones or one that you can upgrade, then you can just turn it into your main device and you can just play everything in front of the TV. Which still is weird because PC, like, I guess it all boils down. I don't know. What do you think about a Steam box? Like, would you buy a Steam box to play PC games?
I definitely think it's a. I mean, I think the only reason I have like doubt about it is because it has PCs tied to it. But I mean, in reality, it's no different than a console essentially.
Right.
So I mean,
imagine a device like this. It's a little box for your TV, because they already said it's gonna have an internet browser. So that means like if it has, so like things like Flash and stuff will work on it. So that means like things like Netflix and stuff like that will work on it. So it's gonna have pretty much most of the features that you're gonna get off any other machine. Possibly upgradable, meaning you could probably put a new graphics card in it if you so desire. And you can download games that aren't exclusive to consoles, but are exclusive to PC, and then like, I mean, when you talk about exclusives, PC has more exclusives than almost any other console, like than any other device. Like, it just does. Like, phone games go to PC, most console games go to PC, and then like, then they have all these indie games that just don't really go to the other devices because they usually don't work. And you got real-time strategy games, all kinds of stuff. So like, if you could have that sitting in your living room, I mean, and then all the games are digital. You don't ever have to go to the store to buy a game.
But I do want to get into PC gaming. So I mean, I don't know. It's very foreign to me at this point. So it's something that like I'd have to like learn more about, see, and stuff like that. But I mean, it's definitely. I like Valve. I mean, of all the people to be making something like this, I'm sure that they're taking the time and care to make sure it would be something worth getting and having in your living. Because I mean, they know this would essentially compete with the Xbox and the PS3 for room on your whatever entertainment center or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I don't know. I mean, well, and plus they have the controller too, so that's another reason to kind of tie the whole console gaming to PC gaming thing to kind of make it easier transition. But
it's still, it's really foreign to PC gamers too, though, because PC gamers like are used to having a device with 100 buttons on it plus a mouse that has super accurate position tracking,
right,
whatever. Like, they're used to having a million buttons and just playing games differently than on a PC. They're used to sitting in their chair. They're used to being close to the screen. They're used to having, just the freedom of a computer behind their game as well. Like, if they want to tab out and look up, what do I do here? They can just do that. They can record their games. They can stream their games, like, just instantly. Like
that. Will that be able to happen on a Steam box? I'm sure it would, wouldn't it?
The recording and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll be in the works. Because Steam's never been like anti-YouTube or anything like that. They've never really shown anything like that.
See, I'd love to be able to do that too. And there's ways to do it with like Xbox and PS3, but it's just not very, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
Easy.
Economical for for just the average person.
Yeah, especially a console, you have to buy like $100 device,
right?
And then even still, you have to have like hard drive space to hold everything, and then you have to edit it. Like, you just have to have all this crap for it. Trust me, I know. But yeah, I'm assuming that'll be, a part of it eventually. It would have to be. But that's the other thing. Like, a lot of those programs and stuff are made for Windows, and they have not been developed for Linux because there was no purpose to develop. Like I use Fraps to record a lot of the gaming footage, and that's something I don't even know if they have a Mac version of that. Like it's just meant to record games, and the only PC games are really just on Windows. So I don't know, but yeah, like I was saying, it's really foreign to me too. Like, and I play both console and PC. Like, I don't know where this fits in, and that's the scary part probably for me, is like where the Steam machine fits in. The operating system makes sense. Like, make a gaming operating system. That makes sense. That's what consoles have. They have gaming operating systems. And then making a controller that's compatible with every game, I guess makes sense when you're talking about sitting in front of your TV. But having these separate little boxes is really, really weird, because technically I could just, if I had the operating system, I could just move my computer over into my TV. I've literally done that before.
See, that's what I mean. It's like it's it's like it's a device to fill a purpose that you could already fill just by moving something. So I don't know.
I feel like it's a transition device. Like, it's supposed to encourage PC gamers to be loyal to the operating system and encourage them to go towards the living room. Like, because eventually, if this ends up being successful, this operating system will basically be just like I was saying, like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 operating system. So it's going to have all those kind of features. It's going to have a browser. It's going to have, but it's also going to be Linux. So it's going to be open source. There's going to be a lot more programs to it. I don't know. It's really, I can't figure out why Valve is struggling in the direction of console people. I can understand why they're trying to pull away from Windows, and they're trying to say, okay, let's make our own operating system. Let's do that. But I can't figure out why they're trying to get people to sit on a couch and play video games, as opposed to sitting in their chairs at their desk. Because there's a lot of people who are okay with that. And like for me, like I'll go back and forth. I don't mind switching back and forth to play one game or another.
See, understand about it. I don't get where they think that. I don't understand that a company that's, they've got some pretty big properties as far as, or IP, I should say, as far as like titles go.
Yeah.
But it's like for the last 6 years, all we've seen is Left 4 Dead games, and we've been working on some whatever stuff, like Steambox stuff. Like I don't get it. It's like
they made Dota 2.
Yeah, see, I don't know what that is. I know what it is, but I didn't know that they made it.
Well, I think they kind of published it more than anything. But that was one thing that they did. But you're right. They've really stepped back from, Portal 2, Left 4 Dead. But all those, both of those games came out a while ago, a few years ago.
Is it weird that I think it's weird that they made Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, because Left 4 Dead sucks. It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. When I played the first Left 4 Dead, I thought it was amazing. But when Left 4 Dead 2 came out and it was basically the same game, I was really disappointed. Because I loved the original Left 4 Dead. It was great. It was great. Me and not Nathan, but his brother Matt. Oh man, we played the crap out of that game. We have really good memories with that game, actually, that we still joke around about. But yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 was always an anomaly to me. Like, why did they make that? Like, it was better in ways, but it was still basically the same game.
Right.
Really bizarre. And it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know where they've gone when it comes to video games. It'd be really scary if like one day they kind of step out and they're like, well, we're not really developing titles anymore.
Well, see, that's how I feel like they're going. Because, they have, I know we already talked about it, but they're sitting on Half-Life. And, like there would be a worldwide nerdgasm if they announced Half-Life 3. Like,
Yeah.
literally, like, the internet would shut down. But it's just like they're just like, yeah, here's some Steambox information. And you're just kind of, I mean, I'm sure there's a interest in that, but it's just like,
Yeah.
it's not, I don't know. They're like a band that you listen to that all of a sudden comes out with like 3 experimental albums at once, and you're just sitting there scratching your head and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like they used to be like a whatever pop punk band, and now they're
Bluegrass.
playing fiddles and yeah, and you're just kind of wondering, well, I mean, I guess.
I've got a strange feeling because what they've said is that there's already like AAA titles in development for this new Linux-based operating system, and I got a feeling once they get closer to announcing releasing the operating system, they're gonna say Half-Life 3, and Half-Life 3 is gonna be on this operating system.
Yeah, that's kind of
like I wouldn't be surprised if Half-Life 3 is done, and now it's just a matter of optimizing it for this new operating system and optimizing the operating system for the game, like just so that they can push both at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the smart thing to do, right? Like, don't just say, oh, we're putting Call of Duty and Battlefield on it, because everybody's going to be like, well, that's going to be on everything. But say, hey, we're putting a game that you all have been pooping your pants for the last 10 years on this new thing. And people are going to be like, and what they're going to say is like, yeah, you can play it on Windows, you can play it on whatever, but it's going to be best on SteamOS. Like, that'll be the marketing. They're not going to just sell it on one, because that'd be stupid. I mean, why would they do that? But they are going to say it's going to be it'll run best on this operating system. It is made for this operating system. It's weird, and it's kind of scary. There's a lot of weird things just in the industry that are going on that are just really risky, like the whole Ouya and the what's that?
That's like, what I can't help thinking of whenever I hear the word Steambox. The Ouya pops up into my head,
which was like, I mean, granted, Steam has a huge following that is already backing them, and all they have to do is convince those those millions of people over, which know, even if they get a few 100,000 or even 100,000, I mean, they could probably make money, especially since they're working with Linux. But it's really baffling to me. But it scares me in the sense of, are they going to take a risk that ends up hurting them? Like, are we going to have a crash, like a really bad video game crash because of this? Like, that's kind of what happened in 1983. There's the infamous video game crash. Like, video games emerged in the 80s. 1983, there was like 500 Pong machines. There was 1,600 different not avatars, but Ataris, and people just stopped buying them, and nobody made any money because there was too many different things out. There's too much competition, so video games just crashed and died just like before they even got really started. And like, that's every time I hear like these kind of announcements where they're pushing out this weird hardware that's new, it's scary. I mean, it's terrifying. What are you gonna do? Like, I still like have nightmares of like thinking, oh, what if I end up playing Super Mario on a PlayStation? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't even want to say it out loud. But I mean, right now with the way Nintendo's holding up, like, that's not unforeseeable, really. And I mean, maybe not in the next 2 years, but in the next 10 years, possibly. Ugh, that's terrifying. But and this, I'm gonna use a lot of Total Biscuit reference for this next part. The controller is actually kind of exciting, and I've never really thought about controllers as much until this one was announced, because it's really, really different. It doesn't have joysticks; it has trackpads. So basically, like a laptop mouse trackpad, but they're the most advanced whatever, and they have like texture feedback, so they can kind of feedback, so you can kind of feel where you are without having to look where you are, using your eyeballs. You can just feel them with your fingers. And then of course it has like the touch screen, which we're starting to see on a lot of controllers. PlayStation 4 or the DualShock 4 is going to have it. The Wii U already has one, and then of course this controller. And then it has a couple buttons on top, a couple buttons on the face, and that's about it. Like, it's really
It does
simple.
look very awesome.
Yeah, and what I noticed though that it's lacking, that I mean, and maybe the DualShock 4 is lacking this as well, but it doesn't have a D-pad.
Yeah, it doesn't have one on there.
Does the new DualShock have one?
Yes, it does.
See, that's something it's getting away from. And I was thinking about this because Total Biscuit was talking about how when the original DualShock came out, it was a big deal because it was the first time you've ever had two sticks, like dual thumbsticks. Like, and that was a big deal. And that changed. And like every controller was based off the DualShock after that. I mean, the Xbox definitely. I mean, it looks a lot like it. And then, well, not doesn't look like it, but it laid out the same way.
Sure.
And then, of course, you got the bumpers when they added the bumpers and the triggers. Like, that was a big deal. And then, of course, clicking the sticks. But they've always kept that D-pad, which, if you think about it, the D-pad's like old school, super old school. That's Nintendo stuff. Like, that's like Nintendo Entertainment, NES, original box stuff. Like,
why are those still on controllers?
I don't know.
For fighting games?
Fighting games, I think a little bit. And but a lot of, like, really hardcore fighters just buy, like, the
arcade sticks or whatever.
Yeah, which is great. Like, that's probably the best way to play it technically. But yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, there's very few times, and there's probably sometimes like a few games that I don't realize I use it for like sub menus and stuff.
Right.
But it is really weird that those are still on there. It's kind of a thing that's like, well, we haven't had a reason to get rid of it yet. But like getting rid of the sticks, and I was trying to count how many buttons. You get the 4 digital buttons, like the 4 electronic button, like, the screen, touch screens. 4 buttons on the front, there's 2 triggers, and then there's like 2 buttons on the back. So that's 12. Did I count that right? 4, 8.
I don't know how to do math.
Yeah, I think it's 12, unless I'm really dumb. So I was just comparing. So like that has 12 buttons. I don't know if the trackpad has any kind of button on it, like if you can push in the trackpad stuff.
I thought I read where you could, because I remember thinking that was cool. I could be making that up, but I'm almost certain.
Let's just say it. Why not, right? Because
you heard it here first. Confirmed. The controller is just a big button.
The trackpad on MacBooks and stuff are pushable, so we'll just say it. So that's 14 buttons. Xbox has 4, 8, 10.
I better fact check that. I feel like I made it up.
Okay. 14. The Xbox and PlayStation controllers only have 14 if you count the D-pads as each direction a button, which you probably shouldn't be able to, because you could really count those as eight buttons actually, because the diagonals and stuff. But they're barely used though. So, and like I said, they're mainly used for like either another way to control movement, or they're used to like sub menus and stuff. They're not really used as like main buttons. So it I don't know, man. It's a really weird controller. It looks really, really cool. I'm anxious. Like, the controller itself is supposed to be backwards compatible to most every game. Like, you're supposed to be able to play mouse-driven games with this thing. You're supposed to be able to play anything with this game or with this controller, which probably excites me the most. Like, I just want, and that's probably the hardest part, is you see it and they talk about it, but I really just want to hold it and feel it. Like, I just want to see what it does. It's kind of like with the new Xbox controllers, and they have those special little triggers that like give you feedback and stuff. Like, that's a selling point for me. Like, I really want to see what that controller's like, and I'll probably I don't know are they selling those individually for PC use?
That I have no idea.
I feel like they're not. I feel like they're not, like, at least right away. You'd have to. I don't know. That'd be stupid. I like my Xbox controller, but I want a new controller for my PC. But I guess that's what this new Valve controller is. Did you confirm or deny?
We're gonna throw that in the questionable.
Okay. So the trackpads may or may not be buttons. We have no idea because we're a bunch of idiots, bunch of nooblers. Nubbles. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I don't know. It's all very confusing and taxing to the brain. And nobody, I mean, I haven't watched one video or seen one article where people are like completely not necessarily, it's not that they're not confident about it. They just don't know what to think about it. It's just so weird to come from, such a big company. Like, they're excited. They know that it's going to make a big difference. At least they have faith in Valve and to deliver, because it's very rare that Valve doesn't really deliver. I don't know. Don't know. Any other last thoughts?
I think I'm getting to the Steam controller stuff.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me? What, do you have the world's slowest internet?
Well, I had to find it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.
Drum roll.
Each one has a high...
You cut out. What'd you say?
Little... what's it called? I'm going to be citing my sources here. This is from Andrew Goldfarb on the IGN website.
There we go.
Let's see here. Driven by the player's thumbs, each one has a high-resolution trackpad as its base. It is also clickable, allowing the entire surface to act as a button.
And they're big buttons. Those are very big buttons.
Those are,
and apparently the technology they're using for like the feedback on the trackpads isn't necessarily anything new, but it's nothing I'd ever heard of before. It's some like H word, I can't remember.
Super precise haptic feedback.
Yeah, haptic feedback. Oh, man,
Dual
can you imagine?
linear resonant actuators.
I guess you could throw it. Like, have you seen the? I'm so stupid. And the worst part is I can't Google anything because if I click out of this, it's gonna stop recording. But the virtual reality thing.
The Oculus Rift.
The Oculus Rift, of course. Like, that in itself, I guess, is just as risky, right? It's a piece of hardware that's really expensive. It's going to take a lot of money to develop for.
That's probably going to make a bunch of people vomit the first time.
Exactly. Like, it's going to be one of those things that, like, some people are just not going to be able to use that. Like, I don't know if I would be able to handle it. Like, I just don't know.
Have you watched the video of the old lady using it?
No.
They, like, trick her into thinking she's, like, back on her honeymoon or something. That's not true, but it's like really weird. She's like freaking out because she thinks it's like real. I don't know. It's really funny.
That's weird, but it's something that's really risky. But it's coming from a company that nobody really knows, and it was kickstarted. And it's not coming from a company like Valve. Like, if someone came out of nowhere and said, "We're making a Linux-based gaming operating system, help kickstart us. We're gonna have these cool boxes that if somebody unknown did this, people would back on and be like, "Oh yeah, this is exciting." But I think I don't know. I'm really nervous because it's a big person like Valve, because I don't want them to fail because I invested a lot of money into them already buying a bunch of games on Steam. Like,
right.
I don't know. That's probably my last thoughts on that, though. Yourself? Do you have any?
Well, I'll just say that it's interesting because, like I said, I want to get into PC gaming. So this kind of is meshing both things together. But right now, it's a very, it's just in the dark. Like, we know what it is and like what it's supposed to perform. Yeah. But just until you actually, I guess, until I see it like live in action and just, I guess, kind of how it works, it's just very foreign and strange to me. And I just don't know what to think really of it yet.
Yeah. Well, anything else? What else were we going to talk about? We're going to talk about how they haven't announced Half-Life 3 for no reason.
Do you want to hear me pat my dog again?
Oh, please. I'm still assuming that's just your belly and that you don't actually have a dog.
No, she's right here.
Oh, okay. That proves everything.
Can't you see it through the microphone?
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually face camming while we podcast, looking into each other's eyes as we talk about Valve and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I think it's about time to end it. Oh wait, if you haven't heard, Grand Theft Auto made $1 billion. So
So there's
Congrats to
that.
them. We'll I'm gonna be sending them a little congratulatory note that has my autograph on it because I feel like they deserve that. For doing such a good job. I think they'll like that at the office. Probably frame it or something. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome, whoever you are. And we'll be back again next week. Remember, from now on, this episode and all future episodes will, well, unless I decide otherwise or just don't feel like putting them out until another day, are coming out on Wednesdays. That's the plan, though. Follow me on Twitter at FreeTheHawk, and you can also follow Kyle at WhoAmKyle, right?
Yeah, just say hello, or that you liked it, or
or just follow us randomly, and then we'll be like, oh, I guess they heard the podcast, maybe. Also, remember to like, subscribe, comment on the YouTube and on iTunes, especially on iTunes. The more you rate and the more you give reviews and stuff on iTunes and YouTube, the more it helps promote us. So if you really like us, we'd appreciate you sharing the love with people. And of course, you can always tell people. But yeah, so that's youtube.com/FreeTheHawk. That's the channel. I don't have the exact URL to the podcast list in front of my face. And of course, you can always just search for FTHcast at the iTunes store. Yeah, I think that's about it. Game of the month again, Arkham Origins series. City.
Yes.
Asylum. All right. We'll see you all next time. Say bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.